We are Noir&Nerdy, the blog and podcast you deserve. I'm Kera, and I am joined by Khalilah.
Hi, guys.
And Joy.
Hey!
From Brooklyn, as so lovely named by Denai. So
Gotta
we
keep
are
that.
we are coming at you this week with Parish, the first two episodes of Parish, a brand new TV series on AMC starring Giancarlo Esposito, Skeet Ulrich, and I don't know anybody else's name by heart.
Paula Malcolmson, Zachary Momo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his last name right. I hope I am because he's fine. Ivan, again, I don't want to butcher the last name. And Bonnie.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then Africa. Oh, no, she pronounces it's Erica, but it's spelled with an A. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out that it is based on a book, actually, called The Driver by Danny Brocklehurst and Jim Poyser.
Mm-hmm.
Executive producers are Danny Brocklehurst, Giancarlo Esposito, Sunu Jonera, Josh Kesselman, David Morrissey, Theo Travers, and Jim Poyser.
Yeah.
So the writers are executive
David
producers
Morrissey. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Love to see it.
Yeah, I love that. That our Walking Dead alumni, David Morrissey, was like, yeah, let's take his show, the original version, UK version from 2014, where he starred in it, and he said, let's do American version. So I was like, yeah, that's cool.
So right now, the first two episodes are out. So we are going to cover both of those episodes. And we will then continue the trend and just do 2 episodes per podcast episode. So you will get 3 Parish podcasts out of us before we begin Daryl Dixon later. But you will also get some interview with the vampire podcast out of us.
And
Coming
we're gonna recap The Ones Who Live again also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we will be getting down to the nitty gritty. I know everybody's been starving. Don't worry, we have you covered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where would we like to start with Parish?
Well, overview, like what the show's about. So it's following the lead character, Gratian, but they call him Gray Parish, and he was in some sort of underworld life at one point in time, and we know that he gave that life up for his family. And what's prompting the show is that his son has passed away, and something in that is pushing him back in, along with his old friend Colin, who shows up after he finished a bid for something. We're not sure exactly what that old job was that went wrong, but he took the fall for it. And so now he's back. So now it's all about Gray trying to figure out how to balance him needing to go back in to maybe help this friend, to also get himself back financially where he needs to be, but also try to keep his family out of the circumstances of what his past dealings were.
I get the feeling that, like, even though, of course, it's a good decision for anybody to stop doing whatever illegal activity that could put their family in danger, right? I just get the feeling that, like, he has terrible timing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, do this, but don't do it as an emotional reaction to something when it's not the correct financial time for your family.
I actually thought that he had already stopped. He stopped from years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he stopped when that whole thing went down, and Colin did the bid for the 17 years. He stopped
Okay.
then.
So that was when he stopped.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the thing it was that that's causing him the issues now is because of the world changed around. So he stopped and he
Mhm.
became started opening he opened a car service company, but ride shares came along and started causing his business to go
Mhm.
down.
Mm.
So there's something that happened in this last year that that caused like I'm thinking that there's something that's went on that added to his son's death.
Okay. See,
So that
and I
happened in the
think it
last year.
is. I think you're right because whatever that is, I was thinking that event was him leaving the business. But no, you're
Oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah, you're like now that I'm thinking about a few things they've said to each other in context. He did stop when his friend went to prison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
because the kids didn't know anything about anything with his
right.
past life, but the wife is like,
The
"Are you
wife.
on that shit again?"
Mhm.
Like, you on that shit again? Like, what? So, do we want to talk about like from the start of the episode?
Because the episode opened crazy.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Okay, so it opens with a police chase.
With the
yeah.
And at
Um,
first, it took me a second to realize that they were after him. I was like, well, maybe they don't suspect him yet. And then you hear the little weep weep, and I'm like, oh, they're chasing him. It's over. Thank goodness he's in a Porsche.
Again, I'm like, I'm not a car girl. That is the one thing about being a tomboy most of my life that I never got anything out of. I'm not interested in car. I don't know what cars are. As long as they're all painted the same color and they take me from point A to point B, that's all I'm concerned about. So I was like, oh, that's a Porsche? Like, oh, I didn't know they had hatchbacks and all that, like little mini car. You learn something today. Oh, okay. But yeah,
I
he's
liked it.
We don't
I
know
like
what
those
he's
kind of cars.
carrying. We don't know why the police are chasing him. But we
Right.
just see him
Nothing.
inside to wait. And he pulled the old wait till they get out of the cruiser to pull off. I pulled that move in GTA so many times. So I really appreciated that.
hmm
I was not expecting it at all. I'm pretty sure I yelled "oh shit" or something when he did it because I'm like, did he just
Yeah,
like he
because it
really
throws
just
you off how
He
he
started
takes out
pressing
his ID.
and he had it
yeah.
on the
But
dash. So
and
I
so
thought,
you're
so
like,
okay.
okay, is he actually going to just go along with it and let them, run him and realize that he didn't have any part of whatever it is they think he did? And then when he pulled off, I was like, oh,
Oh.
oh, okay, we're doing that then. Let's go.
And it was one of the most jarring car chases. Every time he had to slam on the brakes and spin around, my heart was jumping every time. And that's crazy that you're that invested in a something within minutes of it starting, because that
Right.
car
Yeah.
chase, my heart was thumping every time. When the parade showed up, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know who this is, I don't know why he's running, but I need him to succeed.
Yeah. Like you said, it's one of those situations where you're like, you're probably up to no good, but I also want you
But
to
I'm
get
already
away.
rooting for you.
You're like,
For you.
I hope you haven't done anything that's gonna make me regret rooting for you. So please tell me there's not something that I'm gonna regret rooting for you for. But
Please.
yeah, that again, that was like a little thing that lets you know also that even though he tells it later in the episode that he's native to New
Orleans.
Orleans or
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Which makes for a lovely setting.
Yeah. So he purposely went in that direction. Also, that kind of tells us too that what day of the week it is, because for a second line parade to be happening, those usually happen on Sunday afternoons.
Oh,
So
okay.
that means again that he knows the area, he's familiar with it and what things would have been going on, and that would be a way for him to be able to escape and blend in with the crowd because you join on the back of the parade, and hence why it's called second line.
Um, I wanted to point out that I'm a huge fan of shows and movies that do the like, and they didn't show you the end of the episode, but this car chase we discover later on is almost at the end of the episode where we find out like why they're chasing him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm such a huge fan of that, like seeing the craziest shit happen and you're like, what the hell is going on? And then you find out little by little like what led up to it.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Yeah,
love
as
that.
long as when it's done well, it
Yeah.
works. There's sometimes when you do it, when they do it, and you're like, okay, that wasn't a good enough payoff. But here, it is because they add extra to it, so it's not like, oh, okay, now we're just picking back up where we left you at the beginning. We didn't just jumpstart you just to get that, reaction from
Right.
you. Like you're honestly, like I said, by the time you see the actual car chase later, you are like, please get away. Like, please make it. Like, I need you to get out of here because you don't deserve to be in this situation.
And a
And
lot
that,
of times it's sorry.
no, go ahead.
And I was gonna say a lot of times it takes me a second watch to put certain simple things together because I don't know, I just get so into whatever's going on that my brain doesn't always connect the dots on that first watch. But the second watch I usually do. But it was like the first watch with this one, I was like, oh, he just jumped in the car from the beginning of the episode. Like
Mm-hmm.
I realized, like, okay,
As
it's
soon as
on.
he
Like all
spotted
is.
it,
Yeah.
oh, this is how this is about to go down.
Yeah.
And that was some of the quickest thinking I had ever seen. Like he absolutely shocked me with that quick turnaround. And I said, oh, this guy's serious. Like now I see why Colin went and found him after 17 years and was the first person he wanted to bring in on this job because he knows his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never thought to do something like that. He thinks quick on his feet.
It's funny how the driver always is more than the driver.
Always.
Yeah.
I mean,
Always.
and you can tell whatever the line of business was or is or could have been, it could have been multiple ones, but like he's definitely more than the driver because he probably knows more than almost everybody involved besides the people at the top. He's
Mm-hmm.
driving people around, hearing conversations. He knows all the
Yeah.
locations because he's driving them to the
Yeah.
locations. Like he has all the information, so he has to be a trustworthy,
Mm-hmm.
tough, like that balancing act between like I can handle my shit, but you can trust me.
Yeah.
He has to pull off very well.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of plays into what happens later on in the episode,
Mm-hmm.
and then on to the second one. Um, yeah, the first thing like I noticed, they're obviously giving us like his backstory. Some of his story that he runs a car service. It's in some dire straits because he's trying to get a loan.
Yeah, he goes to the bank and they turn
Yeah,
it down, unfortunately.
there's
Wh-
some tension with the wife. So you're
Right,
like,
because at first she thinks that he is not listening to her, and she starts
mm-hmm,
off the wall stuff, and he is listening to her. He just has a lot on his mind, but
mm-hmm,
like that, he was listening to her. He wasn't just off on some other planet. He's doing his best to be present with her, but he's got a lot on his shoulders.
yeah, that's
What
what
did
it.
he agree to go murder somebody with her or something? What did he?
Oh
And she's
no,
like, "Yeah,
she
I'm gonna go
said
start a sex cult."
she said she was gonna open a sex cult.
Oh yeah.
And
He
he
said,
said,
"Can
He's like,
I
okay,
join?"
he made sure to hear that.
he's like, I'm gonna get down there for that. Like, just set everything up and I'll be there. She's like, oh, okay, he was listening to me the
He
whole
was.
time.
She
Yeah.
thought she thought she had him. He said, I'm listening.
It's that was the thing that I noticed in the show, the undertone of the grief, of how they're all dealing with the grief.
Right. They're both sad and they both know the other is sad and they're both doing it seems like they're doing their best. And they still haven't I see in a place like even though they're sad, they're still connected to each other. There's still that, you know what I'm saying, that love there.
Yeah.
This is a couple that you can see that while things around them have broken, they aren't broken. You know what I'm saying? They're still very much um in it together. They're just, holding different ends of the string. I don't know what to call it, but they're both, holding up their own end the best that they can.
Yeah. And then it's just
Not
going
to,
to be whether they're able to balance that with what he's
mm-hmm,
going to end up being in. That's the thing about it.
not to
So this is probably
bounce
something that
around,
she
but
doesn't know about so far. It doesn't seem like she knows, that he's back in with Colin. So that is going to be something between them that I'm very, very curious to see how it plays out.
not to bounce around. I don't even know how far in the episode this is, but I was gonna say I felt like you could definitely see how connected they still were. Just in a
Yeah,
small statement the wife made when they were talking about her wanting to sell the house,
yeah,
and
Uh-huh.
she was saying, basically we're gonna lose a lot throughout this process. We don't need to lose each other too.
yeah,
And okay, that very small line, like as a person that's been married for a while now, it takes a lot to say something like that sometimes, especially when you're feeling the way you could tell she was feeling in that moment.
Yeah.
right. Because it's a
So,
very interesting experience having to sell your house and having to downsize, and then you've already lost a child, so
mm-hmm,
there's already so much grief there.
Mm-hmm.
So to still have that love between each other and to still say, listen, we still have each other, we can still get through this,
Yeah.
means so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
because she's telling him that she sees that he's holding everything, feeling like he's
mm-hmm,
holding everything by himself, and that she's trying to let him know that I'm here with you and I can hold some of this weight with you. You
Yep.
don't have to figure everything out on your own. And then the way that they're both grieving is different. Is him wanting to stay there, wanting to keep things the same way, but she's kind of telling him like things are never going to be the same way without our son being here. So we just have to prepare for that, and we have to work through to get through it together. And we also need to, make sure that the child that we have remaining is also not feeling like they're being left behind also.
which brings me to that damn dinner, the family dinner.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw him grab the picture, I said, "Oh Lord,
Oh no.
oh Lord, don't do it." Oh, he did it. He put it there.
You gonna put it on the table,
On
sir?
the table was
Like,
crazy.
I was like part of you gets it because it's the son's birthday
Right.
and it's the first one since he had passed, and so you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, you want him to be there, celebration of his life, but it could have absolutely stayed on the mantle. Like, you
Right.
could put it
Because
on
first
the
thing his
table.
sister goes, she's like, he hated that picture. Like,
Like,
But he put it on the table and then faced it to her. Sir,
yes,
sir,
oh, so wild. Like,
like
if
she's
it's that
already,
serious, face it
yeah,
to yourself.
right.
yeah. I think too that that's the thing that we talked about, how the parents are balancing as a couple, how they're losing their child, and that it's also them having to realize like this child, she lost her sibling in
Right.
this, and so
Probably your
there's
best
a
friend.
different type of mourning that she's doing, that she has to still get up and go to school with her friends. She still is trying to go to college. She still wants to do all these things that she probably talked about with her brother, and now he's
Right.
not there for her to have these conversations with anymore.
Right.
Because usually, siblings, you talk to them about things that you don't talk to your parents about anymore. So she doesn't have
Exactly.
that person
Partner in
there
crime
anymore.
that you have, someone who, and they seemed so close, and
Hmm.
I can't even think about. Did we know if she was older or younger, or if they were
I think
twins?
she's is I kind of assumed that she was the younger one,
Me
Okay.
too.
because they said that she's going to be going off to college soon.
And that is to lose that extra guidance, because yes, your parents guide you, but having that older sibling is like, you're not supposed to do this, but this is how I do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Giving you that crash course, and like they went through everything before you, so they know. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And to lose that, I know that was devastating for her. I mean, obviously for her parents too, but like that sibling bond is a crazy thing to lose.
Yeah. And then we see that with her and her father, there was kind of a distance between them already.
Yeah.
And, that happens in, any family where one child feels like they're not as much the favorite or the one that, gets to be around their parent as much, or their parent doesn't connect with them the same way they do with another sibling.
Or some.
So,
Oh, sorry.
no. So I was like, I like that immediately when she says to Gray about what her concerns were about, like, I just wanted you to like do this one thing with me. And then he like immediately corrected the behavior. Like he's realizing quickly, like, oh, this other child is still here and I need to do that with them.
Right. Then imagine, your siblings, and now one of your siblings has unfortunately passed away. The hyper fixation that your parents are going to have on you now. They're going to be focusing on you. They're going to probably be overprotective of you now and dealing with all of
Mm-hmm.
the added attention because now it's just you.
Mm-hmm.
And so having the spotlight on you, and especially if you weren't the sibling that got the most attention before, and you maybe weren't in the spotlight, and now you suddenly are. Now you have to deal with that,
Yeah.
and how to like maneuver all of this newfound, all of these new feelings that come with that.
Yeah. And especially we know as we watch the episode, we find out how the son passed away. So
Yeah.
that will probably put Gray into a position where he didn't want to teach the daughter to drive because he doesn't want her to be in the same danger that her brother was in.
Yeah.
So again, I figured that at some point in time there maybe, there'll probably be some conversation where the father will let her know that's why he was holding back with her
Mm-hmm.
that aspect, and for her to realize like, oh, that's why. And even though it's a skill that she needs to have, but then they'll come to, have a meeting of the minds and realize like, this is why my father was holding back with me. It wasn't because he cared about my brother more than me. It was because he's holding back because he does care and he's scared and he doesn't know how to say he's scared.
I
So
and that was a sweet moment between them too, because she was extremely excited when he taught her how to drive. When he said, "Oh, maybe you could drive," oh, her whole lit up Christmas. He
First
could.
of all, sorry. I was like, oh, yay, such a sweet father daughter moment. Whoa, she's driving what car?
That cat.
Slow down, sir.
I was like, oh, that's trust. Absolutely trust. He earned his cool points with that one, because I was like, oh wow, he's gonna let her drive his pride and joy as he should, because I think he messed up a little bit with that dinner.
yeah.
So he had to get back on her good side with that, because he absolutely tried it.
I was like, okay. And I like that he did old school driving. Like, let me take you to the parking lot
The empty parking lot. Yeah.
and let you drive around that and stuff. So I was like, oh, that's so cute. I was like, I don't know if people do that anymore with their kids. Because where is there any place that's empty for you to take somebody to teach them
Right?
how to drive now? It's like, are there back streets and stuff anymore? like, like where do people do that now? Like, it's just really like, okay, you just start driving on the regular streets from day one.
Yeah. I learned how to drive on regular streets, but then when I learned how to drive a stick, the woman that taught me, she knew some secret, like, weird church parking lot with a hill and everything for me to practice on.
Okay.
But that was still 20 years ago. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like I need to
oh,
learn how to drive a
he,
stick now, just in case, for apocalypse reasons.
Exactly.
because
Just
if
in
you learn
case.
how to drive a stick, then you can drive like a truck.
I,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to drive it like how Daryl was. He was doing a horrendous job.
Like, oh
Funny
Lord,
that
you.
they made him not know how to drive a stick. But,
And Denise of all people to be the one to be like, well, I think she,
right.
and he was not trying to listen to her. I was like, you don't call someone to listen to Denise.
Mm-hmm.
So he packed his daughter a school lunch.
A brown bag. A brown bag lunch. And she made sure to take it too.
I'd have been like, you can't be serious.
He's such a like an old school dad. I'm not gonna lie, I love that about him. Even when he pulled up on her, like
exactly. He's like, take them buckets off your head. I said, oh Lord.
not the
You know what? It
bucket.
kind of gave me like a little flashback to old school Giancarlo back when he
Yeah.
was in all the Spike Lee movies, and it just took me back to like do the right thing. He's like, take them buckets off your head. I'm like, nobody calls him that no more, sir. Like, don't do that.
Poor thing, she was so embarrassed. Right up until he offered her the driver's seat.
Mm-hmm.
What about that?
I was like, hey, how you gonna be embarrassed? Ain't nobody on the street, girl. Who's seeing? Like, but yeah. But then, of course, then that meeting ends because we circle back to who was sneaking in his pride and joy in the first place, Colin.
He is a hot mess.
He entered a hot mess, beat up and sweaty and passed out in the his car. Just a mess. But
A damn mess.
some of the best characters are like that. So
Yeah.
I really loved his introduction. Yeah. I said, "Oh, he's coming with the mess. Let's go."
Mm-hmm. And you know that Gray is already used to it. He's like,
he wasn't barely surprised.
Wasn't surprised at all.
All for something.
And nice then, like, they immediately went out and just acted the way they probably did 17 years ago. Like, oh, let's go out and do donuts and drink at the same time. Like, what?
Like,
just I put in my notes, he's making all these dumbass decisions at his ripe ass age.
Screaming. Homie fresh out, linked back up. He was trying to show him, I guess, a good time since, because who knows how long he's been out. Mm-hmm. But it
said that he's been out because remember he says to him in I think that's in episode 2 when he says to him like he knew about the son.
Oh, I thought that happened while he was. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's like that, like kind of like why you didn't come around then if you knew, because remember he tells his wife too that when he got out he gave him the money that he was holding for him.
Right. Okay.
And so he's been out for a while, but instead of him coming out and saying, let me get my life together, he went right back into the shenanigans. And so now,
immediately,
a year later, he's calling Gray up because whatever that situation was. Oh, yeah, because he does tell him when they're out there that night that he went to do whatever job it was, and that the person that they sent with him, that guy ended up getting killed. So
imagine someone is like, okay, I have a job for you. The last person that did this, but
you good, son, because you know how to move and shake. It's like, especially, that's the thing that makes me like I want to like Colin. I want to like him so bad. Right. But the fact that you know that I'm out and you show up just at the time that I need some money and offer this thing, plus you know that I have a family and kids, I'm dealing with my child that I lost, like that I'm going through some stuff right now, so for you to show up right now is like
just everything about Colin is just
I got side eye him every time, especially
everything about it. I was like, shout out to Skeet though, because that man had been in the gym, and I was like,
yeah,
I would look at them arms and shoulders.
Right. It's so funny because I'm looking at like his face and hair and just how they have him looking crazy, and I'm like, this man does not look like this at all. Like, I've always been a Skeet Ulrich fan, and I'm like, they really got him looking like
a different person.
Yeah. They like,
except for when they have him take his shirt off.
I was like, okay, all right, you do your. I was like, he doing his thing with that with the Cajun accent too. I said, all right,
yeah.
Like, all right, you make beignets? What's happening? Like, what's like, what are we doing? Like, what's happening here? Like, you're trouble, and that's exactly why your wife or your girlfriend left you for your brother. That's a sign right there. That's a sign right there.
Yeah, hot mess.
A damn mess.
Just a hot mess.
And for me too, like, after the fact with, what ends up going down, it's like, you didn't know that you had appointment with your CO? I mean, with your PO? Like,
Man, that part pissed me off. So, like, what do you mean drop you off at your probation officer?
That
You
was
can't be serious right
ridiculous.
now.
that's
And
what,
he was
again,
panicking.
it's like, I want to like you and I want to root for you, but at the same time, I think, again, like, he's kind of using the fact that Gray knows that he's not responsible and that he doesn't think things through. He's using that to his advantage in this opportunity. Like, okay, Gray thinks all these things about me, so I can just come in floundering. I actually have a plan, but I'm going to pretend that I'm old me floundering around, and that will draw him in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that, again, I'm still hoping. I'm like, Carl, please, like, please, please, please. But if he, you know what, if something happens to him on episode 4, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought would happen. Like, I'm not gonna be surprised at it at all.
No, I feel like, especially because the way he panicked when when he pulled up and the police were there already and he didn't know what to do. He was,
Yeah.
and Parish had to be the one to come up with the quick little, just, I'm a driver, just pretend to be, like, pay me and get out and say thanks for the ride. He had to save the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't know they were there. So
Again, to me, that was sus.
very much so.
Yeah.
I was
Very
like,
much so. Down to even when his car got stuck trying to dump this
The
body.
entire plan to me, like, I
Extremely.
kept saying to myself in my head, like, this whole plan is stupid, and I would have not done any fucking parts of it. What? Just all of it. The lawyer was sketchy. The building was sketchy. The
The
situation
lawyer
was
was
sketchy.
extremely sketchy.
Everything. Like, I just would not have trusted that. I was like,
Parish
he
had to
has
save
to
the
see the
day.
same.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't for his quick thinking, none of this, they would have all been brains out on the floor because this would not have worked.
Yeah. And again, that's why we're like, oh, Gray as a driver. Drivers in this situation are bigger than just the driver.
Right.
Because he was
Because
able
he
to
knew the
pull
least
all of
and
this
did the most.
together.
He destroyed that car, went and found a whole other car, and then I'm like, did he just go in a circle and come out as a spectator?
Yeah. Did
He's
a
like, would you
full
look
donut.
at that?
I was like, oh, this man gonna do a donut, whether he walking or in a car. Okay, all right. But I was like,
I
oh,
think
okay.
that's his, like, quick-wittedness and intelligence. I think is truly going to be the draw for me for this show, because the stuff he thinks of every time that I'm like, what in the hell is he going to do now? And then he does something and makes it look easy. Like, what? Sir.
Yeah.
And then you realize during that whole opening sequence chase, this fool got people in the trunk.
Exactly. You're like, oh, y'all was in there that whole time? I'm like, oh, okay. And then again, it goes takes you back to the beginning, and now you're like, oh, of course, that's why he pulled off.
Right. Because I didn't realize that at first because they had them both hidden. I was like, oh, the whole opening makes sense to me now. This was amazing. This was an amazing payoff for a chase because this was, I was nervous the whole time, and how quickly he did whatever he did to that first car to make it blow up, made it across the street, just and timed it so perfectly in which to steal the second car.
Right. A
MVP,
nice ass
valuable
car.
player of that, because everyone else was useless in that situation.
Again, it makes me think like, okay, because I understand like him being a driver and also him wanting to only just do this to help Colin out of this situation. He is probably, as a driver, been in these situations where he's like, I don't need to know all of the details.
Right.
I need plausible deniability in
That
all of these situations. I don't need to know everything. But with him not knowing everything and for him to still be able to piece things together and make a way out is like, oh,
extremely impressive.
like, oh, okay. And then,
And I think maybe that's why I thought that he had just quit, because like, why are you still so good at this?
yeah.
Talent.
Like, what are you doing on a daily to keep these instincts up?
But I was genuinely impressed by that.
Like, you can't just be taking people from point A to B, but probably, like you said, that even when he's doing that regular job, he's listening to what his clients are talking about in the car. You know what? You think about that too. That's going to help him in the long run with this too, because he knows so many people's business in this city.
Exactly. Knows people's addresses, knows where people go on the regular, their routines.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I would be starting my blackmail list right now.
Wow. He was like, I'm going straight to the blackmail. Like, I'm not losing my house. Get these
I was
people.
just about to say.
Dude, I might go back to the banker like, you gonna reject my loan? Hold up.
Slides envelope across the table.
Oh, go on, talk to who you gotta talk to. Go on, talk. Come back with my damn loan.
So, yeah, so Colin gets him in the situation, and then we go to the restaurant. And I was like, oh, this is lush. Like,
oh, yeah.
see, I would have been right in that restaurant being bougie and be like, and then be like, oh, this is a crime syndicate going on. I didn't know that was going on.
Oh, let me go ahead and pack this to go.
Let me go ahead. Can I get to go box, please? Let me pack up this food because I didn't know this was what was going on in here.
I totally misinterpreted the vibes. Apologies.
I didn't know I should not have been here. And let me go ahead and excuse my ass on up out of here. Let me go.
Immediately.
Like, let me get the hell up out of here. But I love, like, again, that mix of New Orleans where we see that there's so many cultures that are vibrant in that environment and that they're mixing together, and then newer ones are still coming in and bringing like that African influence back into the community. And even though in this is for nefarious means, but I just love seeing that, you know, after the history of things that happened in that city, that it's back. It's being shown that it's back flourishing.
Yeah.
Because I know some of it that they're filming in is the Garden District, and what's the other part? What's the other part? Oh, the French Quarter.
The French. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the French Quarter and the Garden District are some of the areas that they're filming in. So it's just like, oh, okay, like it's nice to see like there's other, you know, little influences going on in the environment. So we come into the restaurant and then we meet who? I was like, there you go. Because I'm like, again, when you see shows and movies like this and there's like the lead henchman, you know, the lead boss, and then there's always some henchman under him that is the one who's the enforcer who does all the dirty work.
Yeah,
so you immediately see him just like we see him, and Gray is like, you're not the guy. You're not the guy. you're not the guy. Like, you like to pretend you're the guy, and you
Mm-hmm.
got everybody else around here scared and nervous, and they tiptoe around you, and that makes you feel big about who you are. But I know bullshit, and you're not the guy. Zenzo did not like that. I was like, oh my god.
I like that
Uh,
Joy, despite all the theatrics, he literally shook the table, and Parish did not flinch.
Didn't
Sorry, Gray. He
move.
didn't flinch.
mm-hmm.
He
He
was immediately
he was like,
like
"Here,
K
watch.
Michelle, like,
Dry
oh,
your
he's
hands. Let's
shaking
go."
the table.
Exactly. Cleared out the whole room, and for what he said, let's get on with it.
Like, sir, please take me out to the garden in the back. Like, I don't have time for this.
I have bills. That's what I have.
You think I want to be here with Colin and his bullshit? I don't. Let me get in here and get this done and get the hell up out of here. That's all I'm here to do.
I didn't like anything about any of those people that was in in that restaurant.
Wow.
I was just like, I don't like the looks, the sounds, nothing. It just
Meanwhile, I'm in there like, yes.
now,
You
if I
like,
was there to eat and it was a normal establishment, bring it, bring it.
you've been whispering to me across the table, Joy, I think we need to go. I'm like, what's wrong with here?
We need a to-go box immediately, Joy. Our lives are in danger, and I know I just said we need a to-go box, but that's how delicious this food is.
Who was?
We
But I'm
have
gonna
to
take this
get
to
the
go.
to-go.
Because I'm gonna put this in the air fryer or something tonight. I don't know. Something is gonna happen. So finally he takes him out to the garden, and then he meets what did you say his actual name is? Because they call him the horse.
Shepherd.
Oh, let me see.
Okay, Shepherd. Because their last name is Tongue Guy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So takes him out there to meet him, and I was like,
Shout out to Zimbabwe, because I like that little
yeah.
tidbit of where they were from.
I was like, look at things leading me back to deny.
Every
Yeah.
time. One thing about me is I'm gonna link something back.
Exactly. I was like, oh, they speaking Shona? She
Yep.
speaks Shona? I was like, oh, okay. A new language I need to add to my list, I guess. Like, all right, let's do it. I need to learn a little something, but I was like, I'm not gonna front. We got you in that backyard, and it was like, you're the bad guy?
Right.
Or fine. I was like, hello, how are you? What's up? Zachary, hi.
And to bring it back what you said earlier, I love that culture is just thick within this episode, within the series. But you know, when he goes and meets them, I'm like, more culture, more. I just love it. But I've never been there, but I hear that that's how it is down there.
Yeah.
Like, just amazing. And one day I hope to be able to experience it.
I was like, you trying to get beads? What you trying to do?
Not the beads. I think of that. New Orleans always makes me think of Dracula 2000 for some reason.
So it makes me think of the originals.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it makes me think of Interview with a Vampire.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because I've
Wait.
been threatening for years to go down
Vampires
there
for both of us.
Yeah. I've been threatening to go down there for the vampire ball. So hopefully I'll finally make it down there for one of those. Because I want when I go, I want to do I want the full decked out. I want the full, like, I want the whole, I want my outfit, the hair, I want everything to be together. I want to be full on in and just ridiculous. Like, that's why I keep threatening too. When I got to do that this year. When I go to the next con, I need to get my fangs made. Because I'm literally the only one that doesn't have. Like my kid has, my ex had, like, yeah, they all have fangs. I'm like, where? I need my custom fangs. Excuse you. I'm a part of this family also. But yeah.
So, I knew from the moment I laid eyes on his stupid lion ass that the lawyer was going to make it about 10 minutes. 10 minutes was what that man had. I knew it from the beginning.
Like,
He had
sir.
no. Yeah.
As soon as he got in that
Sorry to
back
tell you.
seat, I was like, sir, you ain't gonna make it. Just
He
look in the
should have
back.
found every way possible to not get in that damn car because, sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
And again, it made me think too, like, what did they have on him to get him in the
For
car in
him.
the first place?
Mm-hmm.
So it was
For
like,
him to do any of it.
yeah.
Like, I was like, damn, a lawyer? And you could just tell. I mean, if that man walked in to be my lawyer for anything, I would be like, mm-mm,
I'm going to
mm.
jail, y'all.
Like, y'all better stop playing with me right now.
Like, you just turn around from the bench, see your family. I love y'all. I'm gonna see y'all. This man is not going to be the one. He's not the one to get me free. He is not the one to get me free. He's nervous as hell right now.
Why you acting
And
like that as
you're
a
not convincing
lawyer?
nobody of anything.
Panicking
Nothing.
I was
on the
like,
I'm
phone,
surprised he
calling
made it as
people.
long as he did.
How did she
I thought
read you
Colin
the
was going to
code
kill
and you
his
still got
ass.
it wrong?
I did think that too. I said, oh, Colin gonna kill him in the damn building.
Yep.
I
Right.
was like,
How the hell you putting the code in and she reading it to you like that whole part? I was like, this fool ain't on the phone with nobody. It's just bullshit. I'm like, he know the code. He playing around.
mm-hmm.
Please don't kill me. Please don't kill.
Begging. I was like, oh yeah, he done for.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's a
That's what
loose end. He is gonna crack like a crab leg under the slightest bit of pressure.
that's what I was like.
I
Do you
hate
guys
it.
think that do you guys think that he called the cops, or you think that whoever he works for is the one who called the cops and
I
set him
think he
up?
did that knowing that the cops would probably get called
Yep.
once it got open.
See,
I think
I think that whoever he works for, whoever, because we know you guys watching the podcast, it's spoilers and this shit. But so the passports. So I think whoever it is that had the passports there realized what he was up to. Like maybe he called them nervous, like, yo, they're trying to set me up and I don't know what to do. And they told him, yeah, just go along with it. Just go along with it and go ahead, open the safe up and stuff. And I think they set him up knowing like, yeah, he's an idiot. Like he's the worst lawyer here. Anyway, we can let him go. I think they
See,
set him up.
I mean, that could be it. I was kind of thinking like they have some kind of fail safe for employees with that kind of access
Mhm.
where if you call this number and say you can't get in, we're calling the cops
Yeah.
immediately.
But they call the cops
Like,
not to, he's thinking they call the cops to rescue him
right,
versus
but no.
they call the cops to just, oh, we're just going to get rid of you because you're a weak link.
Yes.
So,
He was
yeah.
screwed all around. He just,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know what he did, but he
He was
screwed
bold going
himself.
back to meet him up after that. I would have ran because I would have known my number was up. I said, oh yeah, they about to finish me. I done messed up. Bold of him to go back.
Like, let me get the hell up out of here. I was like, okay.
So, and I'm probably kind of blending the episodes together in my brain, but I also knew that he was going to be impressed with Parish and be like,
Mhm.
yeah, no, one job my ass.
Yeah.
Like, we're
Ain't
going
no
to see
way
you
he felt.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Because we, like, that was the thing, too, that I liked about the show so far. The complexity of the sibling relationship that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
you obviously have their Baba back home who's been running whatever organization this is, human trafficking, and whatever else they're into. The older son, Zenzu, would have been presumably the one to take over the business. But the fact that the father left and left Shepard in charge versus the older brother says a lot in itself. Then you also have the sister there who is smart and she's on her stuff also.
Extremely capable, yeah.
Yeah. But she's she's a daughter, so she's not going to get the recognition that brothers would. She wouldn't be even in the running to run the business. And I'm thinking that maybe that's going to play a part in something also, that that she doesn't like that she was overlooked by this position also.
There's so
Like
many different. Sorry, I was just thinking there's so many different things at play here. They have a lot of, not too many, because with some shows, I just felt like it was so many different directions, like branches of a tree. There were just too many of them for a brand new show. This one, I feel like is good. He has the emotional damage from losing his son branch, and then the trying to keep the rest of his family together and heal branch, and then his stupid friend Colin branch,
Yeah.
and then trying to keep his business afloat branch. And then these new people are going to just cause a whole. I can't imagine.
Yeah. And that it's also, this is how you make villains, that people are interested in their story.
Yep.
Because they're human traffickers, but you're here like, damn, maybe like Zenzo, you're kind of like, yeah, you're an ass, and we need to get rid of you. Like, you need to be the last person trying to run this business.
Yeah.
You're kind of hoping that maybe there's some humanity left in the horse, and you're wondering the same thing about the sister. What's her name again?
Shamiso?
Shamiso. And so you're hoping that maybe there's some humanity in there also, but then we also know how sibling dynamics can be, especially when a parent puts them in a circumstance where they have to fight for the affection, that it can make them turn on each other. That's why I kind of think that, we're skipping a little bit into episode 2, but it still all works together. I think that a lot of the things that we're thinking, I'm wondering if a lot of the things that we're thinking is Zenzo is really Shamiso doing. I'm wondering, because remember when they come back to have that meeting and he tells Gray, like, that, like, yeah, it's not just one thing. I need you on my team and stuff. And she gets up and leaves out. Like, I think it was meant to, like, throw us off, that maybe she's like, oh, why are you trying to bring this dude, somebody else, into the organization? But I think that it's also that she's like, oh, here's another person that you're trusting above me and what I have to tell you. And that could turn her against her brother also. But she also knows that Zenzo is a live wire, so she's not going to align herself with him to get the position that she wants also. So we'll see. And then then he has the son Luke. So then you're like, the question I was like, where's your mother?
Right.
Where your mama at?
Because we have not seen her yet.
Where is your mama at? Like, your mother left you with this family, with all of this going on? And so it was interesting to also seeing that the horse is trying to raise the son to be a good person, but he knows, like, this is what your family does. So it's like, how are we going to balance that out? That's what I'm interested in seeing with him also.
And I really like his son.
Yeah.
Like, I like this little boy.
He's just like trying to be fun and have fun, and he's like, he's just living, like, even though, like, the way we see the environment, we're like, this is crazy to be living in this, and he's just like, yeah, this is normal.
Right.
Like, I'm with my family all the time, but to him, it probably feels like an extended family that he's with, all the men who work for his family, but he doesn't realize the imminent danger they're in all the time. And he's just like, what's for dinner? Like, oh, you making that again? I don't want that. Like, he's just living the most regular little kid life as possible.
And even the part where his dad is trying to give him this ridiculous gun, his reaction is like a normal kid. Like, I think he said, oh, Baba doesn't want me to play with guns. Like, as if he handed him, like,
that's
a toy water gun. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
His reaction to me was just so cute. Like, I just felt like he reacted like he told him, like he gave him like a toy gun. He's like, oh, I'm not supposed to play with guns. Yeah. Like, young man, that is, please don't play with that gun.
Again, it goes into the dynamic of, like you were saying earlier about siblings, that the older one, even though before we were talking about Maddox and Michaela, but it still goes into the dynamics of the older sibling is the one who's kind of went through things. Like, they're the tester kid for their parent. And so we see that with Zenzo, that some of his hostility is about the fact that he was the tester child for his parents, that, or his father at least, and that his father put him into the army, put guns in his hands at a young age, made him into like this hardened warrior, but then slighted him by not making him the head of the family of this business, of this part of the business in America. So then you kind of understand a little bit of his anger in that also.
I'm looking at my notes. It says Colin is such a child. That's such an attitude with him.
It's just getting on my damn nerves. Again, you're like, I want to root for you, but you be doing some asinine things. And it's crazy. I'm wondering if we're going to get, I figure we'll get some more backstory with him and Gray, because for Gray to be so composed and together, like for him to put up with his shenanigans all the time, and he clearly had already put up with his shenanigans for years. So for him to still continue to do so is like, why are you putting up with this? Like, this is crazy. Because you showed up on my door. I'd be like, sir, I'm not doing this with you. I gave you the money I held for you. I was putting money on your books. Like, I was doing all the things all those years. And then for you to come here with some nerve, like, oh, yeah, I didn't snitch on you. Oh, really? Really, sir? That's what you gonna say to try to get me on your side to do this? Okay.
So you did exactly what you were supposed to do, and I'm supposed to. Like, I showed you I was grateful by making sure you was taken care of all this time.
Like, you cock D's. You seem like you was all right in there. You probably look better now than you did when you went in.
Right.
But again, he says something. I think he said that in episode 2. I can't remember which one, whether it was 1 or 2, but he says something about how he got caught up in some stuff while he was in prison. So that's why he's in this again. I was like, so you still just never learn. But then obviously it's going to be different with, having to survive inside, and is obviously going to, be different than, getting to change your life out on the street, out in the real world. So, a little bit of compassion for him there. But
you wanting to go visit your parole officer with a dead body in the trunk is just...
like, sir, what are you doing here? Like, why are we doing this with you? Again, that was one of the moments for me with Gray that I was like, I would have dropped him off and then dropped that body by myself. I was like, I don't need you with me. Because him knowing where that body is a liability also.
Right.
I would have absolutely been like, oh, okay, you gotta go see a PO. Pull a donut, let him fly out the door, and kept on driving.
Yeah.
And went and dropped that body someplace that he doesn't even think about.
He's the type that he would have dropped his damn ID or watch or something stupid in the hole with the body that you just threw in there. He is the exact type to do something like that. Like, no, let him stay with his stupid parade. Sorry, let
No,
him
and like
stay
you said,
there.
yeah, like you said, because the part when Gray drives off, I mean, Gray walks off from him in the abandoned amusement park. What was you doing the whole time? Gray is having a whole like breakdown moment. He's remembering his son. He's riding the bumper cars. He's now seeing the twine over there, and he's like, "Oh, okay, let me get this and let's get." You were just standing there in the gravel the whole time. What were you gonna do if I didn't come back? You
Be
had
standing there
no
like an
plan.
idiot. None.
Waiting to get caught. No explanation at all as to why he was there. Just vibes. Just there.
Just standing there hanging out. He heard Gray come back. Gray? What if it wasn't Gray?
Like,
You telling my
Right.
name to
so
everybody.
now implicated for nothing. Just mess.
Nothing.
Sick of his ass. Okay, sick of him already.
You know, you're right. Now I really do question his motives because, like, there's no way. No wonder you went away for 17 years. You're terrible at this.
Exactly.
You're
You
bad
were
at
the one whose name was on everything. So of course you were the one who's going away.
Then, and I'm like, I'm trying to remember throughout these 2 episodes, did he save Colin's life twice? Yeah, 2 times.
Yeah.
Because number one, our boy was going to take him out along with the damn lawyer.
Sure was. Because if he didn't get Gray to do the deal in the first place, he was going to be done for.
Yeah. 100%. That might have been a plan from the beginning until he brought Gray in.
To get rid of him from the jump, and then brought
Just
Gray
so
in,
cool.
and so he's probably leveraging like, "Hey, I brought you this guy. I told you he's the guy, and
Yeah.
I told you, and he was out, and I was the one who was able to bring him back in and deliver him to you." Like,
Definitely saved his life with that one.
yeah. So he's gonna definitely try to leverage that somewhere. More than likely with the horse, because Zenzo was like, "I don't care." Like,
Yeah.
so he's not caring about that. But yeah. Oh, Colin. We shall see. Like I said, if he gets taken out in episode 4, I won't be surprised. I'll be like,
Right.
well, yeah, that makes sense. If we find out that he's been double crossing Parish, Gray the whole time, I won't be surprised. If he's just been a buffoon this whole time, I won't be surprised by it either.
No matter what happens, yeah. We see what type of guy you are, Colin.
But again, that's what makes it like a good character, because you're questioning the whole time, like, which way could it go? Where will he go? Is he gonna end up being a good guy that we hope he is, or will he be what we think he is? What he's always been.
Yeah,
He can't change.
But why is Parish sticking by him though?
That's the thing.
Maybe he feels like he owes him. He did the time. You know, he could have snitched because he does mention it, which another red flag. Made sure to throw that in his face that he could have snitched, which, you know, also gives me reason to question his motives. He might, because there's very much. I feel like he's bitter, or, you know, feeling a type of way. And anyone who served 17 years while everyone else involved did not would feel a type of way, no matter how much you say if you're over it. There's no way that that's not a sore spot.
Yeah. But you're just like, okay. Like,
definitely want to see how that's going to go.
Yeah, we'll see how Colin ends. I'm like, because you just in the shenanigans all the time. It's like, okay. Then
I have a feeling Gray is gonna keep saving him.
Me too.
Until he realizes, like, oh, he's unsavable. Like, I can't save him.
Right.
and it's gonna hurt him, but
Hopefully he realizes before it's too late.
yeah.
Because I just feel like he's just going to get more and more reckless as this goes on.
Mm-hmm. My brain keeps going to, which is skipping ahead a little bit, but this action in episode 2
Mm-hmm.
is so.
Mm.
I'm trying to remember exactly how the situation played out. Gray, he wanted Gray to drive him and his son home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is going on here that
Right.
you immediately don't trust your people? Because at first it felt to me like, oh, he just wanted to keep Gray, and this was his test
Mm-hmm.
for Gray. But then when all hell broke loose, I was like, oh, he
Oh,
was already in a circumstance where he didn't trust his people,
yep.
and he was like, I need somebody from the outside that has no agenda in this
Right.
to be the one to transport me and my son. And I
Mm-hmm.
wonder if he knew immediately it was going to jump off, or if he had an inkling that might jump off, and that's why he just wanted to start that relationship with Gray immediately, and then kind of use the son, because again, he knows that Gray lost his son, so he's like, hey, like,
Mm-hmm.
here's my kid, here's my son, help me take my son and get him to safety, and you know the streets and the roads, and you take me the directions that you know. So it was like, okay, he already knows that there's something afoot there. Because obviously, yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
saw that tense conversation that he had with his father on the phone. And so we know that his siblings know that things aren't right with the business. Also, that's the reason they had this whole operation going on. So
Mm-hmm.
other people are in your syndicate know also that things aren't going exactly as the way that they should be going either. So it's just like, how deep is the group that's trying to
Mm-hmm.
get rid of Horse? Like, how deep in are they? That's the thing. But Horse just kills me too, because he's just like, let me just let you know, like, the way that things went down in the garage, like, that's not the way my family does things. Like, we're loving, we're caring,
Right.
you're like, you're shipping people around and holding passports, and like, what? I wonder if it's one of those circumstances where he may feel like, oh, he's helping people in his country get an opportunity to come to the States, and like whatever way they're getting them or whatever, that ultimately after they do whatever they're required to do once they get here for whatever amount of years, if it's like, if he feels like maybe it's an indentured servitude type of thing, like you get here, you work off, and then you're free to be in America, so we left you in a better circumstance than you were at home type of thing. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's how he feels like it's not as bad as what he could be doing if he was back at home with his father, like whatever they're
Mm-hmm.
doing there, like he's on the side that he thinks that he's being more helpful to people in the long run than
Yeah.
what the business overall is doing, which is, trafficking people.
Um, yeah, I was when I when I first heard the words human trafficking, I was like, "What?" Like, I immediately
What
thought
do you
of
guys
like
mean?
the
Yeah, I was
worst
worried
of
about
the
that.
worst. Yeah, but yeah, as you think about like where they come from and stuff, it could be a little more complicated than that.
Right.
Mm.
Um, it could be maybe even a little bit more like human smuggling than human
Yeah.
trafficking.
Yeah. I really want to. I want more details on that so that we can see what
Hmm.
it is, because human trafficking is such a scary,
Hmm.
scary.
Yeah.
So it's like I want to know exactly what it is that they're doing and why it is that they're doing it, because That's a very interesting business for them to be in.
Especially, and it just like makes me sick to my stomach when people say human trafficking and then there's a female like involved near the top.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You're
lady,
like,
what are you doing?
yeah.
You're smart now. You know better. What are we doing here?
Sometimes those be those be the biggest villains because
Yep.
people will assume that okay, that your femininity allows you to have humanity, and those things don't go hand in hand.
Right.
Right.
So again,
I
that's why I said
mean,
Miso's character is one that I'm interested in because I'm like, I feel like she's got a bigger piece of this pie going on that everyone else is kind of like not realizing what she's really doing under all of this. So that kind of took. Oh yeah, so that kind of takes us right into the start of episode 2, where we get the flashback of Gray showing up on the scene
yes.
of his son. So his
Yeah.
son, they're telling us that his son was carjacked and didn't want to give up the car, and that's why he was killed. So I'm wondering if there's something bigger there as to why Maddox was killed.
I do believe that there is, but
Yeah. I feel
I
like we'll
don't.
get it, and that there's way more to that.
Mm-hmm. Everything so far seems to have had like some kind of underlying complication that might have had another underlying complication.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fully expecting it to be layers on top of layers with this story with his son.
Yeah.
Especially because alive or dead, it seems like his son's been the driving force behind a lot of the things that he's done anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely feels responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Probably in every way that he possibly could, as a dad, as a caretaker, as, you know, his son was probably his best friend. His daughter talked about they built an entire car.
Mm-hmm.
He lost a good
I was like,
chunk of
that must be
his.
the car. That must be the car that he got
Oh.
carjacked for. And that's why he didn't want to give the car up.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it could be that's why he feels responsible. Parents kind of do feel like that. Oh, I gave my kid something nice and then somebody killed him for it.
Yeah.
But I do think it'll be more complicated than that. I
Yeah, I
just still
do.
do. So yes, we're getting these glimpses further and further into, what happened to his son. We'll probably slowly start to see and understand more and more like why he feels responsible and maybe who's behind it. Do we know who did it?
Mm-mm.
No, right? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Does he know? I feel like was my real question. Does he know
Mhm.
who did it?
That's what
And I
they,
don't.
yeah, because they show in the episode 1, he goes to the spot and he's putting like the little thing for his son's birthday and stuff. So we never see whether there was any justice,
Right.
whether anyone was arrested, what happened with the circumstances. Was the person, were they caught? What happened from there? So I think that's what else we'll get to see unravel. And then, like you said, that it may be connected to something else, connected. And then you're like, and if it does go that way, then it's like, what effect is that going to have on the family when it comes
What
back?
if it's got something to do with Colin?
Oh,
I was thinking.
it would be him to bring that. It would be him to bring that.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
It's always the high candy. Oh my goodness.
Y'all know that episode 2 for me is I don't remember most anything up until they started shooting.
Oh God, that
what?
got so crazy.
So we had the meeting with the siblings, and where they were talking about what the hell was that? Why did you just kill the lawyer?
Oh, right.
Because
Yes.
again, the conversation was, it was supposed to be we hold the lawyer and torture him or do whatever to get answers out of him, to figure out whatever it is their bigger scheme is that made them have to steal the passports back, because obviously they were being cut out of something, some part of the business someone was trying to cut them out of, so they had to get the passports back to keep themselves from being cut out of the business. But they wanted to ask the lawyer more questions. So Zenzo, the fact that you went immediately and said, "Oh, I'm going to kill this man," that's sus. Like, what are you up to? Did you have something to do with all of this? So then it puts that element into it, and like it was just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But again, you know what? I was like, that's what, like, when you have a squad and you put together, you always got somebody in it as a hitter. But the problem always becomes with the person who's a hitter, they get loose at some point in time and it blows back onto you. And so then it's like, how are you going to deal with that person when they come back at you? How can you control them? And how can you turn around their behavior to make it work for you? And so they're obviously, the siblings are in a position where the brother's brute force is not working for them anymore. So now they're trying to figure out how can they keep him on a leash, but also keep him for the things that they may need him for in the future.
I feel like he's another one that's going to end up dead.
Yeah. Not long for the world.
Yeah.
He a little too...
But I just feel
Yeah,
like
they could surprise us. Either him or for some reason, and I would be mad if it was, but either him or the sister.
Oh no. Yikes, I hope not. But maybe. Because I feel like there's so many siblings, I just don't think they're all gonna make it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then with what happened with...
Not in their line of business.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly...
Two for this show, I was feeling, or maybe it could happen in these 6 episodes. I'm thinking that Baba is going to make a trip from Zimbabwe. I feel like he is going to come, because what are you guys doing? Where's my money? They've been short. He said this was the 2nd or the 3rd drop that the money was short on. I feel like Baba is going to make a trip, and we don't want him to come here. They don't want him to come here. It's going to be a problem.
When he come, you bet not let him talk to his grandbaby.
He gonna tell it.
He gonna tell it all. And he tried to give me a big ass gun too, Baba. You should have seen it. And you know what I said? I told him you wouldn't like that very much. Baba gonna have some words. I was trying to see if like they had a cast member for Baba, but they don't.
Oh, okay. You know, you try to go sneaky, put it up there later.
Yeah, I was gonna say they could add it later, and then they do have some people where it just doesn't say who they are on the show. So
okay. No, it's just like that's still an option for Baba to come and start tearing stuff up.
I mean, I feel like, especially now after what happens, I guess we could jump right in to it, because a good portion of the episode is this damn gun fight.
Right.
Okay, so I said to myself, if Giancarlo gets out this car and also becomes a gunslinger, I am done with this damn series.
You was like, did he get out and he on some John Wick shit? I'm done.
I'm fucking done. So I was glad that like he knows his role. He knows I'm the driver. Certain shit I can figure out. Certain shit I know how to do. This ain't one of them. Give me the little boy so we can.
Well, he does have that gun hidden up in the closet.
Yeah.
Rose sees it up there in the hat box. So he got a little something. He got a little skills here and there, but we just gonna see how much of it. Like, yeah, we don't expect it to be, he's coming out, full force, clap, clap,
Right.
clap, 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 like people.
I
But
feel like it's like an emergency weapon and not like a let me rambo y'all asses real quick when I get
yeah,
out of this video.
exactly.
um and you know what? I was supposed to go back and do a count of how many guys it was versus them.
Because
Hmm.
they were outnumbered.
Um they were very much outnumbered. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
they
you
were
had
math
the
for 'em.
two Carlos with guys,
Mm-hmm.
because the ones that
Pacing a car
Bo
down with a
drove
kid in it.
past, yeah.
I'm like, so y'all ain't see that kid get in the car? Because I know y'all clearly were watching.
They don't care. They got sent to take them out. They just like, all right. Again, henchmen. They do whatever.
Yep.
They do whatever. It's like whatever.
Bunch of
They can,
bees.
yeah,
They're
like
a bunch
whatever.
of bees.
Yeah. They start with all that, that old school saying like, "Oh, bullet don't got no name on it." And stuff like, here we go.
Oh,
Like, oh, okay, so we're gonna root for y'all to die the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Terribly, please go out. Again, like this is one of those circumstances where you're like the how do they pronounce their family's last name? Tongai? Like
Yeah.
their family, you're like, I should not be rooting for you, but you're like, save Horse, save Luke. Like, get them out of there.
Yes, right
Please.
now.
Like, get them out
You
of
can start
there.
picking favorites real fast when those bullets start flying.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, Horse seems like the only one that's like got a little bit of, decency in him. So you're like, oh Lord, like we need him to stay alive because
Right.
if Zenzo is in charge, no, we can't have that. Can't have that.
All hell
So
would break loose. I
yeah.
mean, everything will fall apart. I'm pretty sure. Ain't no he can't run that.
Mm-hmm.
He can't do all that and stay afloat and keep his anger under control. And
Mm-hmm.
he just can't.
Yeah.
You can just see it.
But shout out to the actor Ivan, because yeah, he's been doing his thing because he was just in Bass Reeves. He was in Hawkeye.
Oh, nice.
Red Notice, like he's been in a couple of things. He's like that actor, like you see him in things, like he's someone that like transforms. You've seen him in other things, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that's you. Like, oh, okay, like I saw you, like I see
Oh
you.
yeah, I meant to mention Erica was in Mixed-ish.
Rickfish,
Yeah.
he was bald. That's what I couldn't remember at first. I was looking like I know this girl. Like, what is she from? And I realized, like, oh, she was bald. I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, all right, all right, all right. Get your check, get your check. Oh, and
Mm.
so that kind of takes us right into the next thing I was gonna bring up. When the cop showed up at the door and she was like, what y'all want my father? She's like, what do you mean? Oh, a black man? Like Gray was trying to figure out what to say. Rose trying to figure out what to say. And she was like, wait a minute, what do you mean? He looked like the suspect? What do you mean? She went,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, what my daughter said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can always count on this new generation to be like, excuse me, you
Mm-hmm.
racist, fascist, bigot.
And we're not tolerating this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I march. We're like, all right, you get out there, sister soldier.
Do your thing, girl.
Do your thing. Teach us. I was like, okay. But yeah, she
But you could
immediately
tell
was like, not my daddy. You're not taking my daddy to jail today.
You could tell his wife, though, like, I just feel like she's been expecting whatever BS to kick off once she heard the name Colin.
She knew. She knew. She was like, yeah. It won't be too far behind. Won't be too far behind. Like, okay. Oh
I
yeah, and
can't
then
remember. Um, oh, okay. So he's with Parish. getting shot up, and the siblings are home with an attitude that he's with Parish
Mm-hmm.
and would wanted to be with Parish over trusting one of them to take him where he needed to go. And I'm just like, y'all so stupid. Because if this man died while y'all over there arguing and having the attitude about his choices in a ride home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But again, I was like, I feel like there's a little setup.
Yeah.
There's a little setup-y thing going on. It's like, oh, we had plans because remember they go and they're having a conversation with the guy about the passports and whatever
Yeah.
their drug their human trafficking thing was, and they're like, what are you up to? Because why were we trying to? Because he's questioning them about why did they steal the passports back, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, we know you were up to something, so we had to make
Mm-hmm.
sure we secured our spot that you weren't going to kick us out of this deal. So yeah, they're like, there's so many layers this going on that.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's a good amount that you're like, oh, this could absolutely be solved in the 6 episodes, or it
Yeah.
could be left tidy, but allow there to be a bigger story to be told if we get a season 2. Like there's still the opportunity for that.
Mm-hmm. The way they're putting everything together is just it's really somehow they are able, and I can tell with 2 episodes they're gonna get this story out and it's gonna be complete and it's gonna be done in the 6 episodes. You can just tell by the pace and all the things that they've managed to pack into these first 2 episodes.
Mhm. Yeah. It made me think too about the when you because you brought up Rose, and I wonder what her understanding of things are of what Gray did before. Like, did she ever
Yeah, I don't
full?
think she knows.
Mm.
Like I feel like she knew it was criminal.
Mm-hmm. Because obviously
Um
she's friends with Colin. It wasn't
right.
it wasn't something good.
Exactly. But she
But
definitely knows it was criminal. I feel like the way they're portraying her, she's definitely one of those wives like, yeah, he might be doing things, but he would never such and so fill in the blank. You know what I mean?
I
So
kind
I
of
just
get like I kind of get from her like that she might have been on some shit too back in the day.
yeah.
I get that from her. I get like that she was on some shit back in the day too. Like maybe not herself personally, like or maybe her family, or she hung
Yeah.
with other dudes who did stuff. And so then that's why when her getting with Gray was like, oh, okay, we both ready to get out of that lifestyle together.
Right.
That's what she kind of gives me like. That's why
Which is,
she's like,
and he may need to be more careful because of that. If she was in the life or knows about it, then it's going to be that much harder for him to hide it from her.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
And that's the thing that I think is going to be the struggle. And then also with the daughter, with Michaela, that he thinks like what most parents think. They think that what they're doing, their kids don't pay attention, or
oh,
their kids don't realize.
especially at
Like,
that, they see everything,
yeah, because
and they
immediately when he got that the call when they went for the driving lesson, and she was immediately like, humph,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, what are you up to?
yep.
When
Yeah.
he was talking with the wife in the garage, and then when the wife goes back into the house,
Oh, she's looking out the
she
window.
looks out the window because she's like, what are you up to, Dad?
She definitely saw that.
So I just hope that she doesn't put herself in a situation that requires her to be rescued
Oh man, yeah.
That
because
just
she's trying to
makes me
figure out what her
feel.
father's up to.
I'm trying to figure out what her father's up to because her reacting like that to things, it brings me back to like, so he's been acting shifty this whole time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he might not have been in the life, but there's been something shifty about
Yeah.
him for her to have those kinds of reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And even his wife's reaction to like Colin and to all of it. And then even his reaction to, I was thinking, oh, I'm sure he's never killed anybody. But then he didn't bat an eye at getting rid of a dead body.
Yeah. He did, he was shocked. That's why I was wondering too, because he was shocked when Zenzo bashed the lawyer's head in.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if it was just the shock of it, like he didn't expect it, or if he's just never been in a murdery situation.
And the disrespect of doing it on his business property.
Yes. Like here. I was like, oh. But yeah, like you said, immediately he was like, don't worry, we're going to clean this up. We're going to get this fixed. Like, don't have to worry about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah. Now you got me out here at this abandoned damn amusement park with...
Was that supposed to be X?
Huh?
Was that supposed to be like the Jazzland Six Flags that got flooded during Katrina?
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Okay, because they just dumped him right on in the swamp and almost lost the car in the process. And I said, wow. And it still looks like that down there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really wish that Colin wasn't there for that. Now that I really think about it, that's really giving me a grim outlook on the rest of the on the next 4 episodes, because now you guys have me side-eyeing everything he does. He's
yeah,
he's a mess, and you need to side-eye every day. You need to side-eye what he does, what he doesn't do, what he says.
Hopefully the wife does get some more intel, so that if Gray's not going to start side-eyeing him, the wife can tell him to start side-eyeing him, because he's side-eye worthy. Like,
just like you said, just everything with him, you're just like, I want to root for you, but
it's given Trojan horse. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's giving off all these cues that he's a friend, but then he keeps doing these weird things that you could almost miss if you're not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
That make you look at him like, what are you doing? Are y'all on the same team, or what's happening here?
Yeah. You're like, but like you said,
So
Rose knows. She's like,
yeah,
not Colin. Like, Colin back. And I think that's going to prompt her into not only just being suspicious of what Gray is up to, but that's going to put her maybe into action also.
I think it's going to be a confrontation between her and Colin too. She's going to be like, I'm sick of your shit already, sir.
Because I would absolutely go right to him like, I'm not playing these games. Like, my husband has a soft spot for you for some reason, and you are constantly here starting some shit. And no, you want to get the hell up out of here. You got to go.
Immediately. We got 1 kid left, so get out. So,
or figure out or maybe she can figure out what he's actually up to.
Yeah.
Because the conversation she can have with him would give more detail than what Gray is going to. Because Gray automatically just looks at him as like, oh, this is my nincompoop friend that I have to save and bail him out of all these situations. I think with her, she can come at him a different way and actually get some answers, even if she tricks the answers out of him. So we'll see. We'll see what she does.
Sorry. And we'll get to really see, like, how much she knows him. Like, how well they know each other, and his reaction to, like, I want to see his reaction to her, to a confrontation from her. Like,
yeah.
It'll all just be very telling about, like, how much do you really know about how much trouble he is?
Yeah.
Especially when she finds out that her husband was in the middle of a shootout.
Oh my God. She's good if she finds out about that, as she should, though.
Yeah.
Which is where they so graciously left us at the end of the episode.
I'm actually they drop these at 3 a.m., right? Because I actually am dying to see what happens after that. They've done an amazing job at building suspense because that second episode ended very abruptly.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
It
I felt like,
ended. Sorry.
no, you're good. I was just saying it was a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I was gonna say it ended just as crazy as the first episode began.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah,
do know that he was able to take out some of the guys.
Yeah.
He has incredible aim
yeah.
because
Yeah.
he was definitely able to take a couple of them out.
More
Parish was able to
clean.
get his son to the hiding spot. Parish was able to get himself to the hiding spot.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Harris was running. He said, "You better get your ass with me. Like, let's go.
Go.
Like, we get down." Again, that's a little nod to the fact that Parish has stayed and he stayed fit this whole time. He
Very
go
much
out there.
yes,
stayed
He get
ready.
up in the morning. He eat his good breakfast. He hit that heavy bag. Like he's like, I'm not falling off through all of this. That's what he was like. I'm running with this kid. Like, let's go, kid.
Yeah.
right.
He's
And
definitely changed.
I love the small moment of he like looks down the street and sees nothing, but that's his like, all right, my baby's safe.
Yep.
Nothing, he's not
Yeah,
there wherever I don't see him, so now I can handle business. Basically,
yeah,
that little
yeah.
moment of it was so real to me.
Like
Like,
he
all
turned
right,
from being a father concerned.
Yep.
Now I can
yes,
go to work now. And like you
yes,
said, he was lighting them dudes up in the street. I was like, get him.
When he got to,
mm-hmm,
I was like, yeah, he was more than the driver.
yeah. I'm like, get their asses, and again, they force you into a situation where you gotta root for the bad guy
That
of the
guy. Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
But
Because, yeah, I didn't expect Gray when I didn't expect him to ram them. I thought like, oh,
mm-hmm,
he's gonna pull a move and do like a U and get out of there,
right,
or he's gonna turn some other way. But he said, "I'm going straight at you," which makes sense because that's gonna throw them completely off because they wouldn't expect you
mm-hmm.
to do that.
Didn't he squish somebody too?
I can't remember if he. I thought they were on the other side of the car. Were they on that side of the car? They run out
I
the
don't know
way.
why I thought there was a guy trying to run out the way that might have gotten squished, but maybe that was just wishful
Okay.
thinking because I wanted him to hurt one of them.
You like somebody got smashed. I feel like somebody
Somebody
got
got
smushed up
squished.
in it. You're like, I just needed somebody to be taken out so it wasn't the full team coming after them
Yes.
still. Like, whatever. Somebody do something.
And so, horse gets shot anyway.
Again, like you said, I should not be rooting for the bad guy. And when he got shot, I'm like, no, they didn't kill him on the...
Right, like, what is happening?
It kind of took me back to, like, The Ones Who Live. When the first episode, again, spoiler, if you haven't watched it, skip past this for a couple of seconds. But when Okafor got killed in the first episode, I was like, he's a bad guy. Like, I should not be caring about him or rooting for him. But when he got killed, I was like, what?
Right.
What is happening? So I felt the same thing when because I'm thinking like, okay, he's going to get away. He's going to get back there behind the monument with them. And when he got clipped, I was like, oh, they killing him on this episode? Like, what is going on? Like, I had hopes. I shouldn't have hopes because he's a villain, but I had hopes.
Right. And then that's how they ended, just him laying there.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the guy at the end of the fence, like, just kind of standing there. So now I'm like, Paris, don't you fucking move. That guy's right there.
So yeah,
and I'm like, is he waiting for his kid to come out so he can kill him too? Because like, why is he still standing there?
Mm-hmm. And then, okay, so then that's what was making me wonder, again, who is the one who came after Horse? Because is it one of the siblings trying to usurp? Or is it the syndicate that they were in business with and now they're sending hitters after them because, hey, you came and you stole the passports and so now we're going to retaliate by doing this? Because, again, they would probably feel like they would deal better with Zenzo in charge of the business because he's, you know, a live wire, and it would be easy for them to deal with him and to shut him down and to appease him. All he needs is flashy things and money and the position, and they would be able to control him somewhat. But with the horse, he's a thinker, and so they don't know how to deal with him. So also, if the siblings aren't a part of this, it would send them into a fury, which would also throw them off kilter. It would be easier to take over the team that way, to kick them out also. So there's all these different directions it could be going. And you're like, which one is it going to be? Which one is it going to be? But yeah. So okay, are we going to talk about the trailer for the next episode, or
yeah.
Okay. Horse is alive.
I was just gonna say, I think we'll all be perfectly fine next week.
I was like, yay, he's alive again.
Made
Why
it.
the hell do you care? You shouldn't care that this man is alive. He's a bad guy. Again, this is how you write a bad guy.
Very much.
It was just too. I mean, his son didn't need to lose him in that moment, in that way. He would have been screwed up for the rest of his life. Parish didn't need the heat of he was taking him home and now he died on his watch.
Yeah.
So many different things come into play.
Also, for Gray to be in a situation with another son, even though it's not his son, another son being lost. Yeah. It would have been too much. Too much.
I mean, yeah, that was the biggest thing for me. He ain't dead, y'all. I am very excited to see so many of these things coming into play with the family, realizing something extra weird is going on with Parish.
Because, like you said, you just went through you just got shot at, you was running for your life, doing all these things. Now how you just gonna come home and have dinner?
Right.
And act like nothing happened. Yeah, you know, I've just been driving people around today. No. Was that his car? Or was that
that's what I was wondering. Car? I think that was his car.
Okay.
Which brings me to, why would they have been 100% sure that they were shooting at the right person if they wasn't even in the right car?
Okay. That's what I was trying to remember, if that was his car or if it was the horse's car. But it makes sense for it to have been his car. Yeah.
Because he was basically leaving. He was, saying, I don't got nothing to do with y'all anymore. So I feel like he would have been in his own car to go home. And was forced to do
like
this.
You said, then that adds another layer to it. So it's like, oh, these people were obviously already following him to know if they followed Gray's car. Then that means they know about who Gray is. Oh no, it's so much that he's gonna have to get out of.
The police gonna want to know why his car is shot up. They're gonna go straight to his house.
Oh, Colin. Like, oh, Colin, you done got us into so much stuff. Like, oh,
how's the siblings gonna react to the shootout? The brother survived. Parish saved the son. Just so many. It's
yeah. Oh,
so
and
many things.
Also, I was thinking about too, the people, the guy that Parish runs the car service with. What's going on with that?
Yeah, because remember when the lady came in, she was already a little suspicious. And she was side-eyeing him because he was like, what are you doing in here?
Yeah.
You're by yourself?
And I felt like,
you're cleaning?
Right. I'm like, isn't that his business? Why is she so nosy?
Oh, she was deep in it. But I also feel like she's probably always that nosy. It's just this time he happened to literally have a body in his trunk. So this
Yeah.
is the stakes.
Yeah. Because again, him talking like the first episode when the other guy that he runs the business with, he just is like, nope, I'm not talking to you. I'm not telling you anything. Like that would make me feel some type of way. Like we run a business together. We're going under. You went to the bank to get a loan. And now you come back and I'm like, hey, let's talk about it. You're like, I don't want to talk about it. You run up the stairs and close the door.
Right.
I need to know whether I'm going to have a business anymore. What things I need to start doing. Whether I need to start selling things off and packing my family up. Like, and you're not talking to me. Like, I wonder if that could be another element that's added to it also. The part of his business. And I'm wondering too if some of the drivers in his business were people who were doing things before and he helped them get this position, get this job to be on the up and up also. Or they're just all just legit like, hey, I just drive cars type of thing. But I feel like maybe they, you mess around with people that live a certain lifestyle, they wanted to get out also. Maybe that's why she was a little bit like, what's going on here? Like, this is not your normal moves. Like, what are you doing in here? So I was like, man, let's see. But
so I think that because it's a new series, we can. Is it worth being a new series? Do we like it? Did it, lock your interest in like it's supposed to? Are you invested in the characters?
yeah. Oh wait, I wanted to bring up one other character before we
Oh, okay.
do like a little wrap up. Sister Anne. I want to know what Sister Anne does. I know
She
Sister
was,
Anne gets busy.
yeah, she
Like
was
I can't wait to
definitely
see what Sister
it. I
Anne
had
does.
notes too. Totally
I
forgot.
can't believe I forgot about her. First of all,
When she
I love
said
her
we're lucky to be
actress.
alive, I said, "Oh, you."
Yeah.
It's so weird because they were almost talking to each other like war buddies.
Yeah, that's what it gave.
Yeah, because she's like she got out also, and she's not going back in also. But I like that she was there to give him care and compassion, and that he comes there like to the orphanage or whatever it is, and he's like holding a child, and she knows she's like, yeah, he needs this. Like he comes here for this type of thing to have this connection, and she's open for that. But she's like, I'm not going back into the business, but sis, I feel like you're gonna have to go back into the business a little bit on this next one. So I just wonder like, because if from the past, if he was the driver, then she was somebody who got busy back in the day.
Yeah, definitely.
She was the part that came in and got busy on stuff. And so I want to see like if she does that a little bit, how much she does and where it goes from there. I'm hoping. I'm like, Sister Anne, like, please, I need her to come in like
Her real name is Amanda Brugel. And I do love this actress. She has been in The Handmaid's Tale, which is mainly what I know her from.
Okay.
She's been in Working Moms, which is another show I watch. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
She's been in a lot of like different TV shows and movies and stuff. She was in Splice. She had a spot in Orphan Black. So she's been around. I enjoyed Parish. I always enjoy Giancarlo. Pretty much everything he's been in, I've been a fan. It's a bit of an unoriginal story, but the way that it's playing out, the way it's being directed and produced, I feel brings some freshness to it that I'm really enjoying. And definitely see it getting more than one season.
I
Think
see
it's
that's
worth a watch.
definitely worth the watch. But I feel like people will see that within the first 5 minutes of the episode because it's
Yeah.
hard to stop watching.
Um, yeah, the same thing. When I first saw the synopsis for the show, I was like, okay, we're doing the same thing over again. Like, what is this going to be? Like, how is this going to be original this time? But like you said, immediately you're like, oh, okay. Like, all right. Like all of the nuances there, all of the new, like it being written is written just in a different way, and it brings in the environment. It brings in, like you said, there's all these branches that come off the tree, but they're all neat and tidy, and so you know that they'll be able to be closed off, but also they can allow for more branches if they do a season two, and you'll still look back. I feel like it's one of those shows that if it got a season two, that you would look back, like whatever the next thing that they would bring, the new plot line that they would bring in, like we're seeing it right now being so, but we don't realize that it's happening right now. And then when we get to it, we're gonna be like, "Oh, that's the
Oh,
dude that was with the thing," and like it has
yep.
that type of potential right there. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm like, okay, okay. I know we, with us at Noir&Nerdy, that we were going like strong with our blog every week with the ones who live, and then we kind of like, even though we had announced that we were going to be covering this, it was just like so much that was going on, and we kind of like crashed after that 6-7 weeks.
We needed a break. We needed a minute.
So we kind of like compressed this into like, okay, we're going to finally catch up with this, and then we're going to do, 2 episode blocks to cover it. But yeah, this has been really good and exciting, and I'm like, okay, AMC.
And honestly, if they keep putting this much meat into the episodes, we might actually have to do one episode at a time
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
yeah.
it is a lot to talk about packed into these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, here I was
we'll.
thinking we have a lot to talk about, but we definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
I just will not be surprised if in the last 8 minutes of episode 6 we find out that Colin paid someone to carjack his son to bring him back into the world to help him with these jobs that he wanted to
Mm-hmm.
do.
Oh, that would be a crazy
Mm-hmm.
twist.
That's what I said. I feel,
And I,
again, that's why I was like, I feel like with Colin is like, I want to root for you, but you did something. You did something.
Mm-hmm.
You
yeah,
did something. Whether you were the one who pulled it off, or you were the one who suggested it to someone and you knew what was going to lead to. Like, it's something in there. It's something in there. And it's like, if you did that, oh, you're going to get yours. Like, you're going to get yours. But if you didn't and you're just a dunce this whole time, I'm just like, could you please do better? Do better.
yeah,
Like, are you even trying? Are you just rely on like everyone around you being on point, and that's what's helped you through the whole time? But then there's
Mm-hmm.
also that part where you're like, oh, he could really just be not not on top of his game. Like, he's just not the guy who's ever going to put all the pieces together, and maybe he eventually says, let me take, you know what, I'm the dude who just has to take the heat for this again.
yeah,
So you're like, okay, maybe we'll
Yeah.
we'll see how that plays out. But everybody, like the whole cast, has just been. You're like, okay, like y'all showed up. Like y'all heard Giancarlo was the lead on it, and y'all said, let me get in here and stretch and show y'all what I
Mm-hmm.
can do. And it's good. I'm like, all right, I'm
Um.
interested in every single character.
Yeah. I was gonna say. interested in the daughter, interested to see where his relationship's going with his wife because she clearly wants to fix whatever's broken.
Yeah.
Definitely interested in seeing what the hell is going to happen with him and Colin.
Oh yeah.
And then the whole situation with Horace and his miss.
What about you,
Okay.
Khalilah?
The first both of them together.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they successfully really built an interesting storyline that while it could wrap up in 6 episodes, I don't want it to. I really don't want it to because I want more of Parish and his wife. I want definitely more of Colin and Parish because their relationship, it could potentially be really really interesting because a lot of times when we see relationships where someone went to jail for a long time and came back and they're dealing with being institutionalized, and then with that added layer of I went to jail and you didn't, the little things he's doing, I want to know if it's planned or if it's like almost subconscious, like he's doing it because he
Mm-hmm.
hasn't even dealt with the anger he has um about having to go away for so long. So he's just doing these things out of spite that he hasn't even dealt with yet. Or is it completely planned and he's been mad and stewing this whole 17 years, and he's finally ready to get his vengeance. So definitely interested in that. And then also this family, because sorry, the Tongai family, because I want to see that hierarchy and how, especially after the second episode, after the shootout, where they go from here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Horace is definitely not going to want Parish to go nowhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and that's what you were saying too about what I want to know also what was the job that ended Colin in jail
Yeah.
and what went wrong on it? Like that's what I want to know too. What went wrong on that job and why was it that Colin was the one that, took the rap for it?
Right. And we do get flashbacks. They
Mm-hmm.
gave us that, so hopefully maybe we get that in maybe a flashback scene because I'd love to see what happened there.
I feel like somebody died for him to have been locked up for as long as he was.
Yeah. The 17 years, and then they make a reference to being like I think they didn't do their work down there because they make a reference to like Cleveland, or they make a reference to like someplace else when they were talking about that job.
Okay.
And so I wonder if they didn't do their dirt in their city, if they went out of town to do
Right.
stuff. But either way, Colin, you got a thick ass Cajun accent, so they know exactly
I
where
was
you from.
about to say you're not hiding anywhere.
So like they know where you from either way. It don't make a difference.
Ain't no
So
hiding.
yeah, it was like Gambit, you can't hide. They hear you coming.
Especially because you don't know how to keep your damn mouth closed anyway.
Exactly. But yeah, this was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was great. I am glad we decided to cover Parish. Seems like it's going to be worth the time that we'll put in, and hopefully they'll get a second season.
Yeah.
Because even after only 2 episodes, I am looking forward to a second season.
Yeah.
Thank you to whoever's listening, wherever you are. We had over 1,000 listeners from our first episode. So thank you so much. It was fun, and we will be releasing Interview with a Vampire probably within a few days. We're going to definitely break that down episode by episode, even though we're doing season 1 first, which everyone has probably seen already, but that's going to be so much fun. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I keep hearing about and wanting to add shows to our repertoire, giving us hard work. So you may see a few. We we will be making some changes and updates to the blog so that you'll be able to easier follow what we're doing and know the shows that are coming up and um, when the episodes will drop. We will premiere them on YouTube so that we can chat with you guys in the comments while the episode is on. We want to continue to try to be as interactive as possible. I know a lot of you are listening to us coming from our spaces on Twitter. So we want to keep trying to give you that interaction, even though it's a little bit of a different platform.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we just want to thank everybody who's been here with us on this ride. We didn't expect it to go to these levels, and we're going to continue to growth. But we just want to help. We just want to say thank you to everybody who was here with us in the start. But make sure you go onto all the platforms that we're on: Spotify, Apple, here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, send it to a friend. Be like, these women are crazy and you need to listen to them. They're going to help you get through the day. Like, you may not even watch this show, but they're going to have you cackling. So, just go ahead and listen. So yeah, it's just been amazing. And we're just glad to have you guys here and following us. And when we hit like a milestone when we were on Twitter with our page there, again, all of our links to our different things will be on our YouTube page, so you can find all of it there. But we did like a little giveaway before, so we'll probably do something when we get to a little milestone here on YouTube as well. So look out for that. We'll probably, if it's someone in the States, we'll give them something that we can mail to them, tangible gift. But
Yeah.
if it's someone who's international, we'll probably do another gift card or something like that. Because we want to make sure that everyone is included. Because shout out to all our international fans. Like, hey,
I think our first episode was listened to in 37 countries. So that is amazing.
I was like, you got out the Duolingo for us? You got out the translator for us? Like, what?
Yes, that we are being listened to on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube for now. Coming soon on Amazon, Prime Music, and Audible. So, thank you again. We love you all. We appreciate you all. And we will see you soon.